Hare Krishna. Sometimes we're asked, the Hare Krishnas are asked, if we worship idols. So if you were to enter a Hare Krishna temple or a center, you'll notice on the altar, you'll see forms of the deity that are being worshipped with great attention. And so naturally, if you would see these and you don't know anything about deity worship, you would ask, what is this deity worship? And is it idol worship? So, first of all, I'd like to speak about what is deity worship. Deity worship, the term is known in Sanskrit as archa-vigraha. Archa means worship or worshipable, and vigraha means form. So, the form of the deity is worshipable by the devotee. To help us understand this in a practical way, first we have to understand a little bit about how the devotees in Krishna consciousness worship God. We have an understanding of worshiping God as a person, and that we are also parts of God, spiritual parts, and we are also persons eternally. But coming to the material world, this spiritual spark is within a material body. So we have these material senses, these material hands, and our eyes are material, and all of our senses are material. So naturally, when we interact with people or other things, we are interacting or seeing everything through this material senses. The eyes, the ears, the hands, the touch. So when we start to learn about Krishna and spiritual life and the spiritual world, naturally we're trying to understand sometimes through these material senses. Can I see God with these eyes? So this process of archana, which is the process of worshiping the deity, we engage our material senses in the worship of the spiritual Lord. So here's a picture of the deities. You can see they are very beautifully decorated and wonderfully dressed, and flowers and the outfits. So it gives us an engagement to use our senses, to use our hands to make garlands, to make offerings to the Lord. We can cook for the Lord. We can offer Him a flower. We can walk to the temple. We can clean the temple with our hands. So all of our senses is a very practical engagement in the service of Krishna. Sometimes it's said that book knowledge is theoretical. That means by hearing about God, that there's a spiritual world, and that our position should be to go and be there with Him, that may seem so far away for us. But by worshiping the deity, we actually can engage directly into the same activities that we are aspiring to do eternally with Him. So sometimes this may be confused when they see the worship of the deity going on in the temple. They may be confused, well, is this idol worship? So first let's try to understand what is meant by idol worship. Idol, the dictionary meaning of the word idol, is a form of a deity other than God, or a person or a thing that is worshipped with blind admiration, and generally for a material purpose. The process of deity worship is a fully authorized system of worship handed down through our scriptures. The deity of the Lord is not worshipped as someone other than God, but is worshipped as God Himself. And it is not a concocted form either. It is handed down from teacher to disciple over thousands and thousands of years. So we are not worshiping the deity asking for any material thing, but we are worshiping the Lord in an authorized system, an authorized way, in a very personal way, and not to gain material things, but to invoke our spiritual aspirations in service to the Lord. So in summary, deity worship is an authorized system by which we can engage our material senses in the spiritual service of the Lord, whereas idol worship is a concocted system of worshiping a demigod or personality for some material benefit. So I've been worshiping the deities for over 30 years, different deities in different temples. And I can say from my personal experience There is no more rewarding thing that I've done in the past 30 years than to engage these senses in the service of the Lord. It is very rewarding. And it doesn't mean that you need to have lots of money to do this, lots of facility. Just bring a flower to the Lord, just bring a leaf, some water, just some offering to the Lord, and it becomes a very practical engagement, just as if you have a very dear friend in your life. When you go to see them, you bring something for them, and you offer some nice words to them. So, in my experience, worshiping the deity in a very personal way is very fulfilling, and by that, Krishna will give us entrance into his spiritual world.